Okay, so our nest has just sat down with Mr. Walden to discuss whatever it is that he called him into a meeting for. Let's see what that is. The gentleman in front of you kind of takes in your responses, but doesn't call attention to him. Like when he looks over as you shift, but doesn't like linger his stare. He moves back to Preston to make sure he's satisfied, then just kind of gives you all a nod. I'm sure you're all wondering how I got a hold of you. I only knew the description of the vehicle, and I had a bit of a discreet chat with an individual of the Clan of La Sombra this evening, and I've reached out to you to see if we can come to an understanding.
Well, I think it's important that we know who you are.
Oh, I've already told you, I'm Edward Walden.
Yes, I understand your name, but
Yes.
who are you? Where did you come from? Are you, and I mean this as no disrespect, are you someone that we should know in this city?
No. I'm not an official in this city, nor am I a resident. I'm here strictly on business of the discreet type. I'm here to retrieve an individual and bring him back home. Now, the reason I've called upon the three of you is that I know that you were around this individual when he was apprehended by the sheriff and the Malkavian primogene of this city.
Yes.
Mr. Malenkov.
Yes, exactly. Now, his sire has reached out to me to see about a potential retrieval process until we sort out exactly what the hell just happened with him. That being said, I have description of vehicles that were on the scene at that bar where this unfortunate circumstance took place. Hence, I have your vehicle. Hence, I had your license plate number. After a little bit of work, I found you this evening. Now, what I'm going to put on the table is not favors. I don't peddle in the currency of your sect. I don't care about it. I'm looking to give things more of a concrete nature in terms of physicality, alteration, lessons, things like that. But what I am asking in return for such a service that I would provide is that you assist me in retrieving Mr. Malenkov from his captors this evening.
So just so to understand, to recap, you want us to help you, excuse me, retrieve Mr. Malenkov from the Camarilla officials who have him.
Yes.
Oh.
And you're under the impression that we aren't also members of the sect?
I don't care if you are. I know that you were there, you know what he looks like, you know who has him. That's what's important to me. I don't give a shit about your sect affiliation. And let's be quite clear. Most members of your sect are purchasable for the right price.
Can't deny that.
This doesn't get up to anyone else. Consider it a one-time exchange. We call our business even, and we go our separate ways. You never hear from me again. Of course,
So-
after you have what you need from me.
What, I mean, we're obviously not high-ranking or high-power members of the sect, but what is it that you think that ones such as us could offer in terms of assistance in retrieving this individual from the sheriff, the prince?
He thinks we can retrieve him. That's why he's contacted us.
Oh, just go and get him?
He thinks that we're capable of actually retrieving him.
You were assistant to the individuals who tracked him down and found him the first time. That speaks for itself. I'm sure you're resourceful.
I do believe we could track him down. But I cannot speak for every member of my coterie. So might I be so bold as to ask for a few moments to confer in private?
Of course. I'll leave you 3B. And you'll see him slowly stand up, give you all a nod, take a step back, turn around, and he'll head back the way he came. Now, you will hear him not go up the stairs, but he'll step into the side hall, and you'll hear another wooden chair get pulled out, and the weight of somebody settling into it. Sounds like he probably went to the dining room or another side room like a den or something. But you do hear a soft door click shut to give you guys a modicum of privacy. As that door closes, you hear footsteps descend the stairs again, And walking out into the kitchen area that's just about, I'd say, 10 or so feet behind the chair that's in front of you from where he was sitting, you see this male, at least it's what you think it is, because it walks down wearing a pair of suit pants, like these black charcoal pants, and it's barefoot, but its chest and rib cage have been splayed open, and it's got a very androgynous build. But inside its rib cage area, you see this. It's like somebody took his stomach and made it into a bowl that is pulsating, and you see blood dripping from its lungs and heart into that bowl. Its face is featureless, like somebody wiped it smooth. It's just eyes, two slits for a nose, and a small, almost like just a small little slit of an opening for a mouth. And whenever it breathes, it opens that mouth and exhales through the slits of its nose. And it looks around, and you hear it go, "Master, I heard you. Are you hungry, Master?" And it kind of starts looking around through the room, sees the three of you, like it regards you, but you're not who it's looking for, so it just casts its gaze over you, and it goes down the hallway that you saw Mr. Walden walk.
Okay.
I wish we had more time to hang out here.
This is
Ray, do we?
awkward.
Would I need a roll to like have an iota of an idea of what clan this particular entity belongs to?
What level is your occult?
3.
I
No.
got a high occult too.
You can parse it together from legends
so
and
3.
lore of the bloodlines and clans. For Preston, you were Sabat, so you know after it's that kind of is the right there. That's It was Lewitt. Could have been Nas. That no, you're pretty damn sure.
Yeah, I was like, with the head and the thing, and then I was like,
Right.
no.
The face falling off and the
I was
ribs
pretty,
splayed
I was
with
pretty
a
sure.
bowl.
Yeah, I was pretty sure right then and there. Well, fellas, gentlemen,
Yeah.
opinions.
I don't think we'll have a problem tracking Malikoff down.
Maybe we should.
Retrieving him.
Yeah, well,
The problem is, or I guess I don't want to call it a problem. I don't know if we give a shit or not. The potential ramifications of giving over Malenkov
mhm.
to this dude.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that Malenkov is some sort of him being apprehended and detained and whatever by the Camarilla here is helping to get the Lasombra in good graces. And if Malenkov suddenly disappears, that might jeopardize that. Don't know if we care.
Well,
The only thing I care about how it affects us.
I'm not
Yes.
sure yet because we've kind of just gotten in with Sierra.
Right.
And me being close to Sierra is helping me get close to Clan Tordor here too, because they
Unless we
gave
can
me that
figure out-
assignment.
Unless we can figure out how to tie this to Balthazar too. That would be ideal.
Yeah.
Not sure how we would do that, but yes.
Well, there is someone who can alter the physical appearance of another individual in just the side room there. I'm not saying that one of us might adorn a mustache or something of that nature, but
God, would I want to look like such an asshole? That's a tough one.
I don't think we have anything to lose if we can accomplish this task properly. I don't
Right.
particularly care about either side's endeavors.
I mean, I'm of the same mind. I'm just not sure how we would pull it off. Might have to call in some favors or something.
Well, how do you mean?
Well, like I said, I don't think tracking him down is going to be a problem.
No.
But depending on where he's at,
Uh-huh.
I
Well, we don't know where he's at until we find him.
true.
We have to be bloodhounds, and we have to sniff out a trail. And then once we've sniffed out a trail, then we can properly plan.
I'm up for giving it a shot, man. I'm always down for a good time. The worst case scenario, in about an hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes, he'll probably be at the woods with everybody else.
Jeff,
I don't
you
know.
will see on the outskirts of your vision, like you see something just walk through your peripheral. It looks like V
That motherfucker.
in a Sherlock Holmes hat just walks by with a pipe in his mouth and then vanishes.
Guy.
And you guys are aware of what this guy's offering, right? I mean, like what we can get in exchange.
Teaching. I mean, he said teaching or.
Is this a rhetorical
mentoring.
question?
No, I'm just making sure. I'm just making sure that everybody knows what the exchange is. Is it teaching? I thought it was as a service, as like I will mold you, and I will do some molding. I will do some molding work for you.
Oh, see, I thought I was under the impression that he would, for such a task, would be willing to teach, but maybe I misheard. That's a possibility.
I don't think it matters.
Tell you what, I will go with
Good
you
point.
guys. You both seem pretty confident in our ability to pull this off. I'm with you.
I'm not lacking confidence, and I'm not overconfident. Tracking is, I mean, he is right. We do have a certain je ne sais quoi when it comes to tracking individuals down. And I mean, tracking someone's location, that's not any kind of crime.
That's true. And I am fairly confident in our ability to bullshit out of almost anything.
How dare you?
I'm just saying.
I would never bullshit.
I probably would, but that's beside the point.
If we could assign, hey, look, let's just look into it.
Fair. I can get behind that. Let's look into it.
We can't promise anything. We don't know if he's even still alive. Perhaps the prince has passed judgment, but if nothing else, he went to all this trouble to find us, and I feel like it's only courtesy to, find out what we can find out.
Sounds
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yes, Mr. Walden, I think we have made a decision.
So you call out, and you'll hear the door open, and you'll see Walden walk out of that hallway with that weird creature that had come down looking for him.
This human fountain.
Indeed. He just kind of gives it a nod. Giles, go upstairs. I don't need you anymore. It just kind of nods. Yes, master. And slowly makes its way up the stairs. You hear the halting footsteps as it makes its way back up. Walden walks back, seats himself again in the chair in front of you. So, gentlemen, you've partaken of my offer, my hospitality. What do you have to say to me?
If you gentlemen don't mind.
Please.
I believe we've come to a conclusion. We would be equitable in the offer that you've presented. We think we can track down this individual. We cannot offer you any guarantees, but if we're able, we'll fulfill our end of the bargain.
Can you retrieve him or just track him?
Well, we will try and see what we can do. We don't know until we track him if we can retrieve him.
Is there a concern that your appearance is going to set you off? Like people are going to know that you are there and cause problems? Is that the hesitancy in your voice?
Well, we just don't know what we're dealing with quite yet. But that could be an issue. And
He might be guarded. Who knows?
Yes, we've conferred, and we are somewhat but vaguely familiar with what you're capable of, good sir. And if that is a requirement, we would like to call upon you for some assistance in that regard, if we can retrieve this individual and our appearance is an issue.
Good. You guys will hear the door open and a pair of heels walk in. Just by turning and looking, you will see the woman that you saw on the street that gave the letter to Sullivan walk in. Walden will just kind of smile, give her a nod. Nina, your sister's upstairs. She'll just kind of nod, and she'll just walk past you. Doesn't even pay you any regard that you're here. She just walks in, you hear her go up the stairs. Well, that being said, if there's a question of we're not quite sure when we find him, if we can get him, I will give you a phone number that you can call. Once you start narrowing down locations, send it a text message, just with the general whereabouts of where you are. Maybe a ping on the map. I'll send individuals in that direction. If you can retrieve him, that's the better. If you cannot, but you find him, I will send my own force in. Now, I will warn you, if you worship your precious masquerade like much of your kind do, you do not want me calling my people. It will not be quiet. It will not be clean.
One question.
Yes.
Besides Mr. Malenkov's sire, are there any others of Clan Lasombra that you have spoken to or that are aware that you are here to retrieve Malenkov?
You're talking about Sierra.
Yes.
Well, she's currently staked in her hotel room. So, if you have any ambitions in that front, by all means, I can give you her spare key.
I'll kind of look at the other two.
My good sir, we are fine, upstanding members of the Camarilla. And while we appreciate your independence from our sect, we certainly wouldn't have any... I'll just stop talking.
Now, you are willing to attempt to deliver upon your side of the deal, and now let me lay out the terms for my side of the deal. Should you provide me location, I will be willing to teach you whatever that I can that you wish, within reason. Enough that can last us maybe a week or two of private study. Should you retrieve him and not need me to expend my resources to do so, that favor can run a bit deeper. I can teach more than one of you. That I could arrange to make sure it takes place outside the boundaries of your city, so that nobody is the wiser.
What is your time constraint, sir?
Well, from what I gather from Sierra, tonight.
Well, then we shouldn't waste any time now, should we?
No. He'll reach into his jacket, pull out a card. It's a blank card. There's no printing, nothing on it. At least on the side that you see originally. He flips it over and just hands it out towards Sullivan, and you can see just a single number written on the back, a phone number.
I'll grab it and I'll hand it over to Preston.
I'll take it.
All right, then we appreciate your time. I'll kind of give him a nod and hospitality.
Of course. I will be here for the evening. Maybe not quite apparently visible, but I will be here.
Sounds good.
He'll stand up, and as he turns from you, he just kind of gestures casually towards the door. You can see yourselves out. It will lock behind you. And you'll hear several footsteps coming down the stairs.
Thank you. I'll nod and then head the fuck out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you guys step back out into the frigid cold of Chicago on the doorstep of this Victorian facade brick house. What are you guys doing?
We take a quick ride.
Absolutely.
Where to?
Anywhere I can go to perform a little ritual.
Yep. Ray, wherever we're at, I would like to head towards one of two places.
Sure.
Either a parking garage that's kind of off one of the lesser used.
Actually, to the place where we found him.
All right. We'll be going back to that. That was a bar.
There's a bar right outside of Chinatown.
Yeah, so that's where we're going.
All right. So you guys drive your way over there. Traffic is getting a little more intense as it gets later on to the evening because now it's later Friday night. People are going out. It's time to hit the clubs and start making their way to have fun. Week's ending. People are just out to relax. So the drive takes you a little longer than you would have expected originally, but you guys get down without incident. The traffic is just a little chaotic at this point in time. You don't really pass by anybody that you recognize. There doesn't seem to be, as you guys drive by the location, there doesn't seem to be any presence here anymore, at least not of the kindred type. Now, you do see that there are some, like, the police line do not cross tape across the front door, because this was the scene of an arson. But when you guys pull around the back, the door also is likewise kind of taped shut. But there are no police here currently. There's no sign of any recent foot traffic. Maybe the snow fell a little bit during the day, so most of the area around the back in the alleyway is still kind of fresh, unbroken snow.
Out of curiosity, does Sullivan wear a shirt like he has in the picture there, like a satin shirt?
Only when we go out to like goth clubs or anything like that. That's club attire. Right now, he'd be wearing probably jeans, boots,
Okay.
a sweatshirt or something to stay like kind of under the radar.
Would it be conceivable that I might have a satin ribbon on me?
Sure. It's a ritual you have. I'm sure you guys don't really leave the house too much without at least the barest necessities for any rites that might be useful while you're out. So, yeah, I don't see that as being a problem whatsoever.
Okay. I'll kind of scrape some snow off the ground.
I mean, except for the live spider situation, that's a little different. You know?
Right now.
You can keep it in the fucking thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm not quite there yet. I'll kind of shuffle some snow out of the way, and I'll crouch down, and I'll begin to incant, performing the ritual, and pull out a blade, cut my hand, and begin to soak the silk in my blood.
Okay.
At which point I will then, once that's done and the incantation is completed, I will then pull out the Zippo lighter and light it aflame to perform the ritual, to illuminate the trail of prey.
So you go ahead and perform your ritual, your rite, as I will call it mockingly. It's a
rouse check.
A blood sorcery plus blood sorcery, an intelligence plus blood sorcery test. The difficulties equal to the ritual level plus 1. So, illuminate, is that a level 1 in this system? Let me check.
Yeah.
So it's a difficulty 2. So you need 2 successes on that, and you have to make a rouse check as you soak this satin string in your blood.
Okay, so I'll make my rouse, which I do not succeed.
You will take a point
This
of hunger.
man's hungry.
As you perform the ritual, your blood doesn't seem to be working as efficiently as you're used to, and you feel the beast kind of slowly and insidiously steal its tithe.
And this should already be, and there's no modifiers, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I got 2 successes.
You perform this ritual, you're incanting, you have this thing soaked in your blood, you finally release the magic out of your blood and into the item, and you guys, the 3 of you, see it catch fire and just burns into nothing but dust. You can see, as you do this, with Malenkov, his image fresh in your mind, you knowing that he was right here when you saw him last, you can see the faint trails of the vehicle's tires that carried him away.
Okay. I'll turn to look at my broodmates. I have a trail. Shall we?
Let's go. Just tell me where I'm going. I'll start driving. I will follow his direction.
All right. So you guys get back into the SUV, leaving behind the smoldering remains of the ashes of the satin rope. You guys get inside, and Lamont has to sit in the front to kind of guide Sullivan as he's driving what turns to take. As you guys are driving through the alleyway, it's really simple for Lamont to see the tracks in the snow. It's right in his vision. As you guys hit a live street, things get a little bit different because not only you're trying to track it through the wetness of the road and the black asphalt and this glowing trail, but also among the cars and the beams of light that are kind of blasting off of the shimmering asphalt because of the wetness and the lack of light in the evening. So it's a little harder to follow. So I need you to make an intelligence plus survival roll. Would you like to use any bonus dice?
Yeah, because I don't have shit for survival, so I'll use 2.
Okay, you have 5, so we knock it down to 3. All right, let's see what you get.
I got a success.
1 on the hunger.
Yeah, on the hunger.
So, as you're driving through the city, you are basically giving directions to Sullivan, but there comes a point maybe 2 blocks away that you start losing sight of where the trail was. You guys have to end up looping back around so you can catch it again, and it looks like it just veered off in a side street that you didn't see initially. So essentially, you can still see it. It's just going to take extra time for you to follow it. So you guys go for about a half an hour or so, and it's taking you further and further southwest from Chinatown. You're starting to get into a little more rougher neighborhoods down here as the further south and the further you go away from the heart of the city. And it's not really familiar territory to you guys. These are places where you haven't really wandered in the city because you haven't really needed to. Most of your business and where you feed is up north and around the Loop area, so you're not really down here that often. Plus, there are no Elysium. So as you start traveling down, you start heading towards back of the yards, essentially. It kind of loops you back up and around and going further out west. As you guys head that way, there are a couple times where Lamont has to have Sullivan kind of either do a U-turn and loop back around or just kind of take a side route to get back to where you were before so you can refine the trail. The trail does eventually lead you, however, to a block that looks largely neglected. The houses are all not in shambles, but they're not in good repair. You can see where they've boarded up some of the windows. The cars along the side of the street here are needing repair. Some are really, really rusted. Some are up on blocks because they're missing tires. Some have broken windows. It's a much poorer neighborhood as you guys are driving through here. The fences have gone from the wrought iron that you saw outside that brick facade to now just poor chain link, and in some cases chain link that's half collapsed. You do see the trail leads directly to this parked SUV right at the end of the street. And the SUV you recognize is the one that Damien put Malenkov's body in when you guys saw it last. From there, you can see it looks like somebody's pairs of footsteps have carried the body into the house itself. And that's where the trail ends, inside that house. Now, there's nobody outside. There are some lights on. You can see the curtains are drawn, however, so you can see the occasional silhouette walk by the window because the lights kind of casting their shadow against the cloth of the curtains. You see maybe two people.
Yeah, I'll point out, as we drive by, I'll say, I believe that's where the body is.
Okay. I'll keep driving for about another block or so, and I will pull it as best I can, kind of out of view or just out of the way in general, before I park.
Fair enough. You find a spot. Now, ironically, the condition of your SUV doesn't seem really out of place here. You've been hit by a car on LSD, and Balthazar fucked up your front quarter panel, so it's not that nice anymore. So you find a spot around the side of the block, parked just fine. There's really nobody out, other than the occasional person walking down the sidewalk into a house from a car, or maybe once every couple of minutes another vehicle kind of passes by yours. But really, for the most part, this street is very, very quiet.
All right, guys. Recon time. Let's go see what we can see.
Seems like as good idea as any.
All right. We'll meet back here in 10 minutes.
Let's do our best not to be seen by anyone.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
Unfamiliar territory. sounds good to me.
I am going to basically cut in between some garages or a house or something, and I'm going to go to unseen.
Okay.
And then make my way over to the house.
All right. So you slide around the back of the houses and go into the alleyways. And as you're walking down these alleyways, the mud and the blackness of the snow that's been kind of melted and pushed away from the salt off the side of the road is splattered against some of the garages, some of the trash cans back here. You hear this occasional squeaking here and there of mice that are inside garages. You walk down this alleyway. The lights behind most houses are on and kind of casting this yellowish illumination onto the sheen of melted slushy snow. But the house that you guys had pointed out by Lamont, that house and the house next to it, their backlights are completely off. It's casting a small shadow over the alleyway and the back of the house. So as you kind of step back there, you duck behind some garbage cans, get yourself out of sight, you look around for a second. When you feel safe, you kind of close yourself off from the rest of the world and slowly fade from view. What do Lamont and Preston do?
I do not have the unseen presence.
Okay.
But I do have the stealth, and I do have the silence. So
Yes, you do.
I will attempt to kind of go a different direction,
Sure.
more just like kind of very quiet, quick, house to house, staying out of the way of prying eyes. Meanwhile, utilizing my auspex to, if I hear, like, to try to hear anybody like near, breathing, talking, just trying to go the old school ninja route.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me your dex plus your stealth.
Dexterity.
Mm-hmm. 4.
Good fucking
Damn.
roll.
Very, very nice. So you
good
slide underneath like a weak point of the chain link that's just kind of like been pulled aside and broken. You slide into this yard right next to the house that you know that the body's in, and you duck around the back of it, slide through the little gangway between the houses, and you're pretty much in between this little narrow that just runs between both of the households. It's quiet, but as you bring your senses to this sharpened pitch, you can hear mutterings of conversation inside, and it sounds like towards the front you hear two familiar voices. One is Damien, the other one's Jason Newberry. They're arguing a little bit. You can't quite make out words because you're not quite close enough yet, but you can definitely tell that they're arguing. Preston.
I do not have any obfuscate or anything like that. I have a little bit of stealth. But given that my other two coterie mates are going in close and trying to get an idea of what's going on inside, I'm going to instead focus on the exterior and get a lay of the neighborhood, the area, see if there's anybody else around, if anybody shows up or is driving through, or if anybody else is coming to stake this place out. Just taking that approach instead of the infiltrate ninja approach that those two guys are.
So you pull off, like, you walk maybe across the street and kind of do this casual loop, walking around, just kind of keeping your eyes peeled. Again, there's not a lot of traffic down the street. It's relatively quiet. Maybe once every 5-10 minutes, somebody kind of drives by, but they don't seem to be moving too slow. It's not like they're kind of creeping up to see who's out or to watch anything. They're just casually driving. Now, the people that you do see at this point, since you saw early when you guys came in, a couple people getting out of cars and going to houses. Now it's the occasional person walking out of a house with like a bag or something, like plastic bags, like for groceries, and they'll walk into the house next to them. Like, you'll see like they actually have like groceries and stuff. Like, people are going to other people's houses for like a community dinner, things of that nature. The feel of this neighborhood is one that seems to espouse a sort of camaraderie of everybody's at here. People are here looking out for each other. You do see lights go on when somebody goes in a house after they bring groceries over, and they start, talking. You hear that the sounds of conversation kind of filter through the doors as they close. You do pass a couple people who are sitting out on a porch, like smoking a cigarette, just talking, having a beer in the cold, complaining, "Oh yeah, mom won't let me smoke in the goddamn house." It's like, come on, it's fucking cold, man. Well, yeah, hurry up and just smoke it. Let's go back inside where it's warm. Those types of conversations that are pretty much average, most neighborhoods you go into. There's nothing, too big here that catches your eye. It just seems like you're absorbing the normal evening life of people that live here.
All right.
Back to Sullivan. Now that you've thrown the unseen presence upon yourself, or unseen passage, you're at the back. You're by one of the garages. What do you do?
I'm going to attempt to make my way into the backyard. Again, least resistance possible. So if there's a break in the fencing, like Nate had found, I would take that route, or just any way I can get back there without issues.
So when you get to the back of this house, some of these houses have garages right behind them.
Mm-hmm.
This one does not. It actually has like a small parking area instead of a garage. And you can see there's no fence at all. It's just a straightaway for the backyard into the house. Now, the back of the house has like a wooden, not balcony, a wooden deck behind it, for the main level. Because you have to go up like a small like half flight of stairs to get to the main level. It's like a normal 3 flat, right? And there's a black wooden balcony out the back on the second floor, and like a deck on the first like main area with some stairs that lead down. On that deck, you see one guy smoking a cigarette and loading a pistol. It's a Hispanic-looking gentleman. He's wearing this leather jacket, like a big leather jacket, like a bomber jacket, essentially. And he's smoking a cigarette as you hear the click of him putting, rounds into the magazine for his pistol. He doesn't seem to see you, obviously.
Right. I'm going to step behind the garage so I'm out of his way. I'm going to make sure my phone's on silent, but I'm going to turn it on. I'll turn the the lighting of the phone real low to where it's barely casting anything, and I'll just send a message over to both of them saying one in back outside. Just kind of giving them a lay of the land.
So Lamont, you're in the gangway. You get this text message from Sullivan.
Okay. Where I'm in the front.
You're in the middle of the two houses, like the gangway that runs between them. So you're like mid part of the house. He's in the back in Obfuscate. You still got maybe about a good 30 feet of the house to get to the front or to get to the back. So you have your options open. So where you're standing now is that small cement sidewalk that passes between both houses. You can see that the glass block windows for the basement, just a little bit off and to your right towards the front of the house. And you see towards the back further, the simple, glass paneled basement windows. Sure. Small, maybe like a foot, from ground to the top of the window. They're not very big.
Well, so it's a small window. Would it be possible to try to open it without breaking the window, jimmy it open or something? Or
sure, you can give it a shot. It would be a larceny and dexterity check.
Larceny.
Yep, and you can rouse the blood to give yourself 2 dice for any one roll, any category, physical, mental, or social.
I'd like to do that.
Okay.
And I have successfully done that.
Go ahead and roll your rouse. Oh, you have. Look at that. You got your 1 on the rouse check, so you succeed. You don't get any more hungry. You kind of force the blood through your system. I guess you're putting it into your physical?
Yes.
Okay.
You said dexterity, you said?
Yep. Dexterity plus larceny. With, of course, your bonus from your 2 for the rouse.
Real quick, while he's making this roll, would it be possible, from last game, to get a willpower back from anything?
Sure.
From anything?
Well, you slept for a night.
Right.
You didn't have any nightmares this evening. Yeah, you're good. You're good. You can get a willpower back. So 2 on a hunger dice too. So as you reach down and start kind of looking for a way to open this locked window, you're rattling around. You're kind of feeling around the edges of it. Kind of, does it open from the top or does it kind of swing in from the bottom? You're trying to figure that out, and your beast just gets frustrated. You just feel yourself grip the edge of this window pane, and you hear this. Well, you feel it more, this sudden snap and pop as you just force it open. Like the rusted lock just couldn't withstand the force of your beast's insistence to get inside as you snap it. And it swings open. So the hinges are on the top, so the window just kind of swings in for you. Now, being about a foot, you could squeeze in there. It's going to take some wiggling. So it's not going to be really quick. If you need to get out in a hurry, this is not a good way.
Okay. I'm going to try to see if I can get a view of anything in this basement.
Sure.
So I'll just kind of stick my head down and try to poke it in a little bit to see if there's anything or anybody I can make out in this basement.
Yeah, you kind of crouch down by this window and slide yourself over to the side to kind of look inside. And with your heightened senses, enhancing your already natural predatory gaze, you can make out the outlines of a bunch of stuff down here in storage. Like you see old furniture, some old washers and dryers off in the corner that sit unused. Cobwebs are kind of going between the support beams down here in the unfinished basement. But when your gaze sweeps around to the left towards the back of the house, you can see the stairs that lead down, and there's light spilling from the kitchen down through these stairs. And you can hear the argument now a little more clearly. Damien's demanding to know why Jason won't just fucking go to the meetup. And Jason's like, I'm not leaving that son of a bitch here. I'm making sure he makes it to his destined end. And he seems desperate about that. He really, really wants to see this through. Now, as a light spills down the stairs, you can see there's this a chair, let's say from the 70s. Those wooden chairs that had that round backing to them.
Yeah.
That look a little uneven on their legs. They got the shaped wooden legs that go down. You can tell it's a little wobbly because it's leaning a little off to one side. And in that chair, bound up in handcuffs and what looks like bungee cord, is this charred body with a stake in its chest.
Okay. I will. I'll look around, make sure nobody can see me, and I'll pull out my phone and I'll start, very quickly texting. Found body in basement. ... Send.
I'll just respond with where. I'll come meet you.
Between the two houses, basement window.
BRT. That's all you'll get back. And I'll head over there. Right?
So you make your way through the back, and you hear that guy click the magazine into his pistol. You hear it kind of slide into a holster. As you walk by, this cigarette butt gets flipped right past your face, and it's this sizzling through the air as it lands into the snow right next to you. As you kind of give a second pause, like, shit, that was close, you hear a lighter go click, and the inhale and that subtle burning of another cigarette being lit up. As you make your way towards where you see Lamont, it takes you a second. You can't really see him at first, the way he's managed to crouch down within the shadows, the deepest parts of the shadows along the side of the building, but you see him there after a second, right by this window, crouched down by it.
I'll get like right near him, and I'll just let the facade of the obfuscate drop.
Okay.
Just like I was here the whole time.
Yeah, you let your presence be fully known again. You kind of push away that mental blockage to the outside world, and you fade yourself back into view. For Lamont, he's been here. You just haven't paid attention. Mm-hmm. But you see Sullivan's kind of crouched down by you.
I'll, because I have the silence up. I'll just point, and I'll point down below, into the window. And I will try to wiggle my way in.
Okay. Give me an athletics and dexterity check. You only need one success. This is just to make sure you don't get caught on the window in any way, and you don't land in a crash.
Okay.
Think thin.
Right. Suck it in, man. Do you want to spend any of your player dice?
What do you guys think? Should I?
Oh, man.
I don't have athletics, so...
Oh.
Yeah, one. Say one.
Okay. On the plus side, this isn't going to be a spider basement, so you're safe with that.
Okay. All right, so I'll use an athletics.
Okay.
And one of our player dice.
Oh,
Nice.
Look at that. Is that just a normal?
That's just a critical success.
That's a crit success, yes.
Yeah.
Damn.
So you got the 2 10s. You slide in gracefully as fuck. Like, you basically kind of take a second to figure out how you want to go in. Then you go in feet first. And when you see him, Sullivan kind of just hold himself on the outside and slip his feet in. It just kind of like, he doesn't seem to have a spine as he slides into this basement and lands completely silently. Doesn't hit anything, doesn't seem to waver on his feet. He lands perfectly in a crouch.
Once he's in and he kind of gets up and whatnot, I'll just pantomime. I'll point over to where the body's at, do this,
Yeah, I'll not.
and pantomime pulling him out.
That's
of the
what I was
window.
going to do anyways.
With the gracefulness that Lamont has landed, he moves across the basement, the cement floor very easily. You make it to where the body's at, and you see that he's not chained in any way to the chair. He's just bound up in it.
I'm going to arouse my blood to increase my strength
Okay.
because I don't want to make any I want to be as quick as possible. And I know naturally I wouldn't be strong enough to just lift him and move him out of the view of the doorway.
Right.
So I'd like to rouse my hunger to try
Right.
to do that.
So you force your blood through your muscles to try to get that extra edge for your beast. You do manage to do so successfully without any more hunger getting added to your gnawing bit of just the beast is constantly hungry in the back of your mind. You feel that strength rush through your body and your frame. You don't get any bigger, but you definitely feel stronger, more confident. And you go over to pick him up. What's your strength at now currently with the +2 from the
4.
words? So 4. You pick him up effortlessly. A lot of him burned away, to be completely honest, in the Molotov fire before they put him out. So when you pick him up, you definitely get some of the charred flesh and muscle fall off to the ground because he literally got almost burned to a crisp, almost burned to death. But you pick him up fine, and you start moving rather quickly back towards the window. And since you scored your critical success on getting inside, I'm not going to have you roll to get out. You'll get out just fine. But you hand this guy up through the window towards Sullivan. Now, Sullivan, what's your strength currently?
After I rouse the blood, it will be 4.
Okay. So go ahead and rouse. Oh, look at this. This is going good tonight, guys. So again, you summon the blood in your system, you force it to move through your body, and you feel it kind of infuse your muscles and make you stronger, more steady on your feet. And as Lamont kind of feeds Malenkov's shriveled and burned body up through the window, you grab him and start pulling him. Now, as you start pulling him out into the gangway there, Lamont realizes you're going to have an issue. That stake is sticking out of his chest a little too much to make the clearing, so you're going to have to either pull it out or shove it in further.
It's going to go in further.
Okay, so with your increased strength, you reach up, kind of
I'll
wrench
grab
off
him
the
like
side.
I was going to say, like, I'll grab him around the body and, like, just push.
You feel it sink in through more of the flesh, and there's a weird little resistance as it kind of gets forced deeper into this man's heart. The body obviously doesn't move. It's just a weird sensation to restake or stake somebody deeper once it's in. A little awkward. But you manage to get down far enough and on an angle so it actually will clear the window, and Sullivan's able to pull him out completely. So you guys...
I'll reach a hand in and assist his escape as well.
Okay. So Lamont can actually get out as you reach down and give him a little bit of help. He manages to make it up and out without needing assistance. So you guys are left there in the gangway with this desiccated corpse.
I'll just pantomime. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Okay. I don't know if I'll like text him real quick. I'll pull out the phone. Can you be not here with him like you were before?
I'll just reply back with too big.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take off my coat and put it on this charred body, and I'm going to try to like hide with him like he's like Bernie, like Weekend at Bernie's, like.
So you're going to Weekend at Bernie's, this desiccated charred corpse.
Like I'm going to try to like continue to sneak like I snuck up here, but I'm going to like take the shitty arm and wrap it around my neck and like try. I know it's going to be more difficult, but that's what else can we do? The only advantage that we have is that I'm not making any noise. So my hope is my not making any noise and him not being visible will allow us to get the fuck out of here.
Okay.
So
I'll need
what
you to
I'm going to do to try and assist real quick is when I do go back into my unseen presence, because I'm going to start walking down the alley again a little bit to where he turns to go whatever way he's going. I'll kind of recede myself from reality, and I'm going to interpose myself between him and this house. So anybody looking over is already forced to not see me. Hopefully that will help in avoidance.
That's some power gamey ass shit right there.
I have obfuscate as a character. My character knows how it works. It's not that I'm not there.
Nate, it's what his character would do, okay?
It's on the sheet, right? It's on the sheet.
It's on my sheet.
So go ahead and give me a stealth roll. Nate, Dex plus your stealth. I'll give you a +1 dice bonus because shady fucker over here.
Big money, no whammies.
2. All right. So you make it through the gangway back into the other house's yard. You make it across the yard. The only catch up you have is when you're going through the chain link, because it's like, fuck, how am I going to sneak, hold, fucking carry this guy? But you make it eventually. And as Sullivan's walking kind of in parallel with you, making your way towards, the SUV down the street, you make it back to the SUV essentially unseen. Preston, you really kind of, as you're looking around the houses, you got the text messages that went through because you guys done the group thing. You're watching to make sure nobody's going alert. You can see people still occasionally walk past the front of that house because their shadows again are across the curtains. You don't see them though. Like when you're looking around, you don't even know where the fuck they are.
On my way back, by making my rounds through the neighborhood to scope it out, I will see if I can find like 3 or 4 rocks, not like pebbles, not like anything huge, but like maybe a little bit smaller than baseball sized.
Right.
And just kind of pocket them just in case.
Throw them at windows.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I'm basically trying to scope things out to make sure nobody's noticing. If I have to distract the guy in back, that I have these rocks that I can like toss at the adjacent house that's like away from where they are, so that I can pull his attention there.
You get a couple of good sized chunks of concrete from like when the plows come through and like hit part of the sidewalk, or a little bit of asphalt's been kind of ripped up from a pothole when they came through with the plow. So there's definitely enough debris around that you can get a couple of things that you can stuff into your pockets without any issue whatsoever.
Perfect.
So Lamont and Sullivan get back to the SUV. You can get the body into the back without issue. At this point, it's probably like around 10 o'clock or so at night. So most people are inside or they're already out for the evening. Not a lot of traveling coming through. So as Preston's kind of walking his circuit back, the traffic has slowly started to decrease in this area. Does Preston go back to the vehicle?
Well,
Yeah,
if he's
I wanna
not there, I text him. So
Right.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
not there
I
when you
wanna-
guys get there.
Yeah, I want to stay close to the SUV, close to the house at this point as much as I can now that I've scoped things out and I have my rocks. So yeah, I'd be heading back.
Okay. So at that point, then, like Lamont and Sullivan will get there. Preston will be walking just around that corner to see them as they get and open the back and throw the body in there. So Preston, you do see them as you walk up.
Cool. I'll look around, make sure coast is clear, and then I'll just head to the SUV and get back in.
Okay.
I'm going to take us the opposite way out so we don't pass the house again.
Okay. So you guys leave the neighborhood. Where are you going with Malenkov's body?
Are we going to text the dude, or are we just going to show up and be like, surprise?
well, that is a really good question.
How long do we have until the meeting?
You have an hour. So whatever we're doing, we have to do it now.
Okay. I'll give him a call and let him know that we have him and we can bring him. We can deliver him now.
You
go
call
text.
and it.
Oh, do you want me
So,
to text?
so yeah, you
See
go to
which
call
text?
and Lamont's like text.
Yeah.
All right. I'll text package ready for delivery.
A minute or so go by, enough for Sullivan to get like another half a block away when your phone will buzz with a reply. Bring him back to the main location.
Okay, I'll respond in the affirmative. Like, okay, on the way. I said take it back to his place.
That's where we're going.
You leave this neighborhood and start heading, again, back north. You have to go to River North, so your best bet at this point is try to hop on the expressway and just head north to kind of cut through the most traffic because you're on a timetable now. Luckily,
Yes.
the woods you're going to are right off the expressway as well, so you should be able to make it there if you guys hurry. Now, getting to the brick house where you met Mr. Walden is not an issue. It takes maybe about 20 or so minutes by taking the expressway. You get there. There's actually a open parking space in front of the house this time. You guys pull up. The lights are on in the main area where you guys spoke with him. You can see now that curtains have been drawn for the evening.
I would suggest we pull up into the driveway and drive to the back.
Well, there's no driveway.
Okay.
There is an alleyway in the back. You guys can't go to the back and scope that out and see if there's a garage or something because you didn't go back there before. You just came through the front. But the front
check that real
side,
quick.
it's just parking on the street.
If not, we'll have to take his idea, throw the jacket over him, and weekend at Bernie's this motherfucker like he's drunk. And hopefully we're obscured enough where people won't notice. But first we'll take a trip around back, see if there's any place to pull in.
Okay. So you kind of pass the house after kind of slowing down to stop. You're like, no. And you go around the back. You loop around and go into the alleyway, essentially. Mm-hmm. And there is a garage to this house. It's a 2-car garage. It's right situated behind this 3-flat.
Shoot him a text real quick, ask him to open the garage.
I'll send a message that says garage with a question mark.
You just get a thumbs up. As you guys are waiting there, you will see the door open and somebody descend. Seeing between the garage and the rest of the houses here, you can see one wearing like black leather pants, this black leather jacket with a bunch of spikes on it. She's wearing fingerless gloves and she has like this spiked mohawk that just runs down the middle of her head. She walks to the back of the garage that's facing the house. Door opens and closes, and then you guys slowly hear the garage door start to open. There's another vehicle in here. It's a very, very... The windows on this thing are incredibly tinted, like almost black. It's this white Cadillac SUV with completely black windows, essentially. And the license plates are from Indiana. When the garage door opens fully, you can see she's standing there, and you can see she's got, like, on her hip, this machete in a sheath, and she's just leaning against the door, with her hand by the button that opened the garage, essentially.
But we don't recognize her. Like, we've never seen
No,
her
you
before.
have not seen her either.
Well, either way, I'll pull in the garage.
All right, you back in, and once you're in, she hits the button to close the door. After it closes completely, she just kind of reaches over and she completely opens your back door. Doesn't even wait. When she opens the back
I
door,
don't care.
she kind of chuckles. Oh, Malenkov, you dumb fuck. What did you do? And she grabs him by one ankle, and you hear like the crackling and like the snap off of bits of charcoal of his flesh and what used to be his muscle fall into the carpet, the back of of your SUV, and she just drags him out. And then he just boom hits the concrete as she just pulls him out of the back. The door closes.
Very
She
unceremonious.
swings it down. She goes to walk around towards the driver's side. When she looks down at you, you can see she's got a bunch of earrings in her ear on either side, at least a half a dozen in each ear. She's got a nose piercing and snake bites. She just kind of knocks on your window.
I'll just roll the window down then.
All right, you shit brains, you can go ahead and get out of here. I'm open the door for you. Walden says thank you, and to give a call when you're ready for whatever the fuck it was that he offered to you.
We'll
We
be in
appreciate doing business with you.
Yeah? Okay. Well, listen, I don't. You're a bunch of cammy fucks that I'd rather see your heads on a pike, but hey, you did me a solid, so you get to walk away. Congratulations. That's really awesome of you. You get to live. Now, in your dealings with Mr. Walden, if you ever decide to actually grow a pair and do some real shit, then we can talk further. But until then, I guess don't trip over your fucking umbilical cords on the way to mommy's teat.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
She'll walk back towards the button, hit it on the garage, the door will start opening up, and you'll see her kind of throw like a tarp over Malenkov's body so that as you kind of pull out, nobody can see in and see him laying on the ground.
Right.
You drive out, she closes the door, it slowly closes.
You know, I thought that the Sabbat was like, I thought they were done for. Like, I thought I had heard rumors they were like destroyed. And she seems like she just got done reading the rule book.
Yeah, well, adaptability and all that sort of thing doesn't tend to be the strong suit.
Well, whatever.
Nor manners, at least in her
Yeah.
end. It's all right though. We need to make a quick stop.
Oh.
I'm gonna stop for gas. And when we do so, I'm going to definitely pull some of the fucking
The charcoal bits?
no. The charcoal bits, but the like the paper towels and stuff that they have at the area, and I'll just whatever charcoal bits fell off that dude is coming to fuck out my truck.
So you get the rest of the bits of Malenkov out of your car.
I'll dip it into the frozen, mushy window cleaner to kind of help mask the smell in case I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen, and I'm a paranoid dude. So I'm gonna do my best to get rid of it without being able to steam clean it right now.
Okay. You spend like 10 minutes clearing out the back of the vehicle to get the last bits of charcoal out of the little carpeting in the back. There are bits of Malenkov all over the place in the back because as you're driving and rattling around, his body's just losing bits of itself.
Right.
But you get pretty much all of it out that you can see, and the help that you get from the window washing fluid is lackluster, but it does kind of help some of the scent. There's no more burniness that's in the air in the back either. And since you have the back door open and the the wind's kind of blowing stuff out, it kind of airs out the place good enough to where you're like, cursory inspection, nobody's gonna notice anything.
I'll talk to Preston, while Sullivan's cleaning. What is our lie?
I'm also thinking we leave this here in one of the parking spaces or something, the car, and we Uber to a couple blocks away from the forest and we hoof it.
Well,
That's
our lie is,
Yes, what were we doing tonight?
well, we were seen at the Drake. So we went there to grab a bite to eat. We were in that neighborhood, and we know nothing.
Okay.
I mean, the more in this sort of a situation, the more elaborate you try and make it, the less believable it is. We were at the Drake. There were there were similar wait staff and everything there that has seen us in other places before. So there's somebody that could verify with people who obviously work for them or do work for them that can vouch that we were seen. I still have the room card that we took out of room there. That's where we're planning to spend the night. We're having a bite to eat. Drake Hotel is a frequently visited establishment by people in the city. It's believable we'd be hanging around there. As Torador. That's where we were.
Sounds good. We were also approached by a very attractive prostitute who we opted to pay and meet up with at the end of the night. Who's supposed to meet us back at our room at the Drake.
Perfect.
So you're thinking we leave the SUV here and
Yep. And if anybody asks why we didn't bring the SUV, we didn't want to be followed.
Because it
To
got
a
a
gathering.
flat tire.
Fair.
Because it got flatten the tire.
Yeah, I was gonna say one of us is gonna flatten that fucking tire, and I'll call Uber.
So I can't say I actually saw that coming. The group decided to completely betray the Camarilla for their own ends, and I had kind of, as the night went on, I kind of figured out where they're going with it, and especially after rap we talked about it. But they have just decided to steal Malenkov's body from the sheriff and from Newberry and deliver it back into the hands of Sabat. And now they're getting ready to go to a city meeting where Malenkov was supposedly going to be executed as part of the price for the La Sombra being allowed into the Camarilla. Well, next episode should be interesting, to say the least. See everybody then.